testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. When it comes to gift giving, it's all about the wow factor. And let me tell you, nothing wows quite like jewelry. Whether it's a delicate necklace or a statement ring, jewelry makes the right statement. So if you want to knock her socks off, or anything else for that matter, skip the generic gifts and go straight for the bling. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown! Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown. Terrell Farley, defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven.
I've talked to a few cats. They said that Bock got some game, man.
Coming at you live from the Coppels Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson.
All right, welcome to Bock and the Blackshirt here live at 93.7 theticketfm.com on a rainy Saturday. We're taking a little break from the girls state championship games running around here in Lincoln, and it's going to be me and Bock talking some football for a minute and some women's basketball also. What's up, Bock?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's been an enjoyable morning with some excellent games, people punching their tickets to the championship game tomorrow. Nick's done a great job on the call, and we'll get back to those. But, yeah, it's just nice to get a little break and talk some sports with one of the best ever. Done it up with the Skyline Cream there.
Did Pender
did move on.
All right. I know
Pender's in it.
I know Bill Bush was going down there to see the Pendragons. Yeah, to go into action on Bock. You know, as we get ready for spring ball in the next week or two or whenever spring starts, freshmen. How many freshmen do you think can get on the field this year?
Ooh, that's a good question. You immediately think of some of the wide receivers that they went out and got. Cortez Mills, Mose, they're up there as far as those a position that guys can get on the field.
All right, don't throw my names out too much.
All right, well, not too many names.
I want to give you a list. I'll give you a list of 4 freshmen who I read this article that think they can play this year.
Okay.
Really, you already said Mills, one of the top receivers in the nation, did last year. Mills did post some stuff earlier this year of setting a goal of having 40 catches, 700 yards, about 6 TDs. That's a big expectation for a guy who's really in a loaded wide receiver room already, with the additions of Dane Key, Isaiah Hunter. We ain't even talked about Hartley Gilmore.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who transferred with his coach from Kentucky. And then Ja'Cory Bonner, obviously, we still know what he can do. But, Cortez Mills, if he can get a great spring in and jump a couple of guys before fall camp, before spring's end, then fall camp show a true grit of how to play college football as a freshman. I don't know if too many guys can come in like Jacoby Barney and do the things that he did against the teams he did last year.
Well, it might be difficult, but that is a position where, guys typically can come in and immediately have success. Like you said, putting out those lofty goals, which would break a bunch of Nebraska records. Not sure if he's going to reach those because it is a crowded room. Remember Demetrius Bell, a big name that they were looking forward to before last spring ball when he got injured and was out for the season. So throw him in there. But yeah, they're going to have an opportunity to come in here and compete at least. And that's all you could really ask for. And so maybe we'll see flashes of them. I think the 4-game rule where you can still play 4 games and redshirt is going to probably help out with a lot of guys. So you can kind of see them flash. You can get them opportunities without having to burn a redshirt. But, that wide receiver position definitely flashes to me as one that would have an opportunity. The running back position, probably somewhat in the same position. Jamarian Parker coming out of St. Louis, 6 foot 185. We'll see what they do with Connor Booth, 6'2", 210, if he plays running back. But that is a position where it's kind of Emmett Johnson. You've got some guys that barely maybe had some reps. And so it's pretty much open behind him. If Parker can come in, and that is a position typically, as we've kind of seen over the years, if you play as a true freshman, can impact one way or the other, you might have a bright future. If you redshirt as a running back, as a true freshman, just generally, we haven't seen the best results from that. Not necessarily saying, some guys don't come in ready. That's a position that you can come in ready to help where there is an opportunity. So I would definitely think there as well on the offensive side of the ball. And then linebacker, you just got some pretty darn good linebackers. Might be competitive to get on the field, but between Christian Jones and Dawson Merritt, I would think they might be in that article as well.
Yeah, Dawson Merritt's on this list. The thing about him is that he had a torn liver he played with in his senior year. So spring ball might not be a up and at it now, but I guess when fall camp starts, this young man should be ready and should be ready to go. And like you said, the kid from Omaha heard he gained a lot of weight, so he'll be a middle linebacker because they're saying he's like 240 right now. So I'm not very high on him playing outside or I know we have Shavers coming back and he's gonna do a lot this year. We have the guy from Georgia Tech who I heard that's doing a lot of things. So we have to look at that too. So and then you got Javen Wright coming back. So we don't know how important we know how important Javen is to this team now. Tyson Terry, kid out of Omaha. Had a lot of upside, just won the state for 4 years in a row. I don't think he's gonna play this year because they say he had a torn ACL. So you have to think about that part of it and really see how that's gonna go. That's 6, 7, 8 months, almost a year for that injury.
Yeah.
So Dawson Merritt, I do see him coming in, trying to get playing time just like Willis McGahee did. Is he for sure a linebacker or he's a jack? So I don't know what he is so far, but I know that he can play.
Yeah, and Tyson Terry too. I mean, that is an interesting conversation because you wonder if he kind of gave up a little bit as far as preparedness for football, putting that surgery off. Obviously, again, wanted to finish his high school career undefeated and state champion once again. So in wrestling, so that's definitely commendable by him. But I also think too. I mean, Tyson Terry. Yes, there's opportunity in the front line to play right away, but not a good sign generally if you're going to be throwing freshman defensive linemen out there. They got a few guys in the portal that should be able to kind of, hold his spot. Not to say that he couldn't. I mean, there are guys. I mean, we saw Cam Linhart come in and play right away as a true freshman. There are guys that can do it. It's just, it's a lot to ask. And so maybe that was also factored into Tyson Terry's decision was that, he thought that maybe he was, I won't say likely headed toward a red shirt, but more often than not, that on the defensive front, we're highlighting positions, wide receiver, running back, where you can get on the field immediately. Again, it can happen at these other positions, but more on the front line, offensive line, defensive line. It's hard to expect, a guy that's been playing against high schoolers to come in and play against grown men and be very, very good.
Yeah, just looking over our signing class, a guy like Julian Marks, who's the offensive lineman from Othea, Kansas. 6'8", 275, probably needs some work. So we're not going to push lineman too much unless he's that type of player. So we have to thank Christian Jones, like they said, linebacker Omaha, 6'2", 237 already, Bock. Is he a jack type of player?
Could be. I mean, again, you'll have to wait and see. Again, those guys are generally going to be guys that are adept at getting to the quarterback, be doing most of the pass rushing. Will at times, again with the 3-3-5 system, just kind of be a guise as that, and then go back and drop into coverage. But more often than not, that's what they'd be doing. Definitely could have the size for it. I think a lot of that is just you have the plan for it, and you've got them penciled in somewhere, and you got to see how they do against offensive tackles at the college level. So again, I think you see in the spring. What does it look like for those guys? And Nebraska's a little bit banged up on the offensive line for the spring as well. So I don't know if it'd be the best test, but it'd be a better test to see if those guys kind of fit in where they fit in the linebacker picture.
All right. Isaiah Mose. Dad came here to coach, flipped him from Oregon. I don't know. I think he's a tweener to me, 6'1", 180. I think with the depth of the receiver class, and I mean the receiver's position anyway, I think we can almost guarantee that he will redshirt. Don't know if it's worth playing 4 games sometime, because I don't know. I don't think it was worth playing those 4 games most of the time.
Well, yeah, I mean you get spot minutes generally. So it's at least a welcoming to college football, and hopefully the idea is that you're beating somebody, you're blowing somebody out. And so if you throw somebody in there and they have a mistake, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Of course, we know Nebraska football has struggled to get into a position to blowing people out. If they are winning, generally it's not by a whole lot, and being able to get those guys out there. But still, special teams work, whatever you can. I would not necessarily going to write off anybody, because while Nebraska does have a lot of really good wide receivers, and in a stacked room, I do think a few of them will play. And if Mosey comes in here and maybe he looks better than Cortez Mills or some of the other wide receivers that they have in this group, then maybe he's just it doesn't have to mean long term. Maybe it's just more college ready. Jeremiah Jones, another guy that's coming in, I think might start out there at wide receiver. So I wouldn't write him off, but I see what you're saying. At some point, that room does get stacked enough that you'd think redshirt. Now, again, you can have, and these days you can have somewhat of a successful season while redshirting.
Yeah. Malcolm Sampson. Hitchcock, Texas, 6'4", 260, DN. Think he's be ready to play. That gives you a little depth. We also had the kid coming from Missouri who's a transfer, and we'll talk about transfers next week and update you and see how those doing right now. Jamarion Parker, you talked about him earlier. Kid out of St. Louis, Missouri, 6 foot, 185, speaks the running back. Could help. Could be that third back behind Quinn Ives if he can hold on to it. If he bulks up and get bigger than what he was, he could be a force to reckon and give Emmett a spell or two.
Yeah, I mean, the number 6 all-purpose back in the nation, according to Rivals coming in. Again, I almost just hope he's ready, right? Like it's a position again that you should be ready to roll. If there's an opportunity for playing time, then he should be in there and ready to go. But we'll see. I mean, that's sometimes can be a big ask, but if you look up and down this group, I would say he's probably most likely and most hopeful, right? I mean, I think for us fans that Nebraska would have a little bit of a 1-2 punch. Now they might have stuck around with the 1-2 punch a little bit too much last year. Emmett Johnson maybe didn't get as many carries as some would have liked, certainly against Illinois when he didn't have a carry. But it's still good to have some depth there. And so that running back position is going to be big. And I thought it is very telling. And Adam Carricker brings up this a lot too when I bring up the running back position, that it's not that they just didn't land anybody in the portal. They didn't really go after anybody in the portal. And just from the outside, looking at the depth, you think they need to add somebody. They need to go grab somebody. But they didn't seem to be scrambling. They didn't seem to be hosting. So they either really like Quentin Ives or really believe in Jamarian Parker. I will say too, though, for Nebraska, I mean, and they know this from 2 years ago. Even if you like your top 2 guys, those guys can be gone in a flash. That happened 2 years ago, of course, with Gabe Irvin and Ramir Johnson on the same day against in a Louisiana Tech game. So I would think Jamarian Parker is the guy that I hope has the biggest impact out of this group, and I believe is going to have the close to, if not the most opportunity.
Yeah, I think I'm right with you, Bock. Connor Booth, don't know really too much about him. I know he's a small class kid out of Wahoo, Nebraska, 6'2", 210. Maybe he can squeeze a couple of snaps out of there. The thing with me is that we invested so much in Emmett that we didn't go after a good backup, or they have that much belief in Quentin Ives, like you said. We need a swifty back, not Ives is more of a power back to me, a guy who weighs over 200 and some pounds, 220 pounds, probably like 6'3". So, I'm looking up for a guy like Emmett size who can really come in and spell Emmett on those plays.
Yeah, and again, we kind of went through a few of the names. There is one more name that's escaping me right now. I'm going to go look at it real quick to look out for in that running back room. And it's not from the new guys. But it is a name that they were kind of interested in last year, Mekhi Nelson, who they brought in. I've mentioned before, generally it hasn't worked out all that well for redshirt running backs to have an impact on the program long term. But I believe Mekhi was able to redshirt last year. Indeed, he just had one carry against UTEP in 2024. But he could be another guy that could factor in. And he came out of Pennsylvania. I think it was kind of a late signing. In last year's class, 6 foot 185. And so he could also factor into why they have so much belief. Maybe they might really like Ives, they might really like Mekhi, and they might really like Jamarian Parker, the kid coming in.
Well, hey, maybe we'll see, Buck. We just some guys who think we know what we're talking about. Not saying we are the real experts of college football. We leave that to Matt Rule and company to evaluate and grade these players based on what they can do on the field and what they do off the field also. So we'll have to worry about that.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We've got plenty more to go here on The Captain. Again, it was just an abbreviated show, but we've got about an hour and a half with you before we send it back out to Nick Sainert for the NSAA Girls Basketball State Championship Tournament. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back more with the Bock and the Blackshirt on 93.7 The Ticket on The Captain.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking all the top brands, including Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Sea-Doo, Manitow pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership, plus score big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has it all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location, and they can't wait to get you set up for the summer.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you the highest quality roofing solutions. Whether it's new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Lincoln Federal Savings Bank, personal banking like you remember.
Hi, this is Chris Elgert, loan originator at Lincoln Federal. I know that buying a home is one of the most important decisions a person will make in their lifetime. That's why you need an experienced loan professional to explain all the options available, to answer all your questions, and to make the home buying process a rewarding experience. Talk with me and discover why Lincoln Federal is personal banking like you remember. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchase from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
You know you want those Wingstop boneless wings. With the boneless meal deal from Wingstop, you get 20 boneless wings in 4 delicious flavors and a large order of hand-cut fries for just $16.99. What are you waiting for? More wings, more flavor, more bang for your buck. The $16.99 boneless meal deal from Wingstop. Order now from wingstop.com. Valid at participating locations for a limited time on orders for pickup or delivery placed via wingstop.com or the Wingstop app. Prices may vary by location. See wingstop.com/offers for full details.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking all the top brands, including Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Sea-Doo, Manitow pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership, plus score big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has it all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location, and they can't wait to get you set up for the summer.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to the Captain Show. Bill and Bennett says, is Demetrius Bell any kin to Kenny Bell?
I don't believe so. I think there's a lot of Bells out there. I could be wrong, though.
All right, good afternoon, Bock and Terrell. Stay dry. 75 on Monday. Fishing by Wednesday, John and Courtney.
He's moving on to spring.
Oh, yeah, he's ready already. Today is Friday, fellas. LOL. Let's see who else. What up, Bock? Hey, are we still a 335D?
Yeah, that's the plan for right now. Matt Rule wanted to continue with the success that they've had with that. So, hand the reins over to John Butler, and that's the plan moving forward.
All right. Gus Mohawk says, hey, Blackshirt, if you enrolled early and had an offseason with Osborne and McBride as a freshman, do you think you'll be ready? Love the show, fellas. Ooh, probably be like Jay. You know, Jay Foreman came off a red shirt and was a starter instantly his red shirt freshman year. So, you know, anything possible if you can make it to spring and especially get through with Charlie McBride.
How was your true freshman season at JUCO? Was there a big jump? Did it take some time to adjust to that, or were you pretty good from the get-go?
Probably pretty good from the get-go. I think I finished like 100 tackles, 88 tackles my first year, and then I think 111 something my second year.
Yeah.
So it was a lot better my second year because I got used to the system and we did a lot of more things with me. So
yeah,
I guess they had to see how I played first.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah. All right, Bock, let's get on these women's basketball. They knocked off Illinois yesterday in the Big Ten tournament second round. Faces a uphill battle today with a UCLA team that's been number one most of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Nebraska did lose the first matchup with UCLA out there in Los Angeles, 91-54. Now that was the Big Ten opener for UCLA, so it's been quite some time. That was January 29th, I believe. But in any case, it's in that game, Nebraska did battle with some foul trouble. Alexis Markowski didn't have her best game. She was particularly in foul trouble as well. And Nebraska was competing with UCLA for a half. And then in the second half, it kind of started to fall apart, as you can tell by the final score. But I think they'll be able to play them a little bit closer today, but it is a big task. As we go through kind of these tiers of college basketball and even Big Ten basketball, it can be tough moving up those tiers, maybe more so than in some other sports, right? There just might be a little bit more of a gap, but never say never, right? I mean, that's why they play the games out there on the hardwood. And Nebraska wasn't supposed to beat Illinois yesterday. Not as big of an underdog, right? But still went out there and got the job done. It needed a big fourth quarter, 25-14 fourth quarter victory for Nebraska, led them to get a 4-point victory. So they had to come back there. And Brent Prent's been back the last couple of games has been a big deal. And then the other thing is, whether they win or lose, at least you feel good about where they are going into the tournament now, because they won 3 games in a row. Of course, in tournament play, you've got to stack wins to keep your season alive. Nebraska, up until recently, had not been able to win back-to-back games. And, I think it was since maybe early, mid-January. So being able to get that out of the way and get going there in Indianapolis. Yes, they're not going to be favored against UCLA, and it's a big challenge, but it's like that, like what we say in football. Nebraska kind of have that measuring stick game. The whole nation would definitely open their eyes if Nebraska was able to get a win here. In fact, you could argue, and we'll see kind of how it turns out, but a win against UCLA today might even be bigger than a win in the NCAA tournament, just for the amount of eyeballs that it would draw to Nebraska. And of course, they'd be able to continue in the Big Ten tournament. But yeah, it's a challenge, but it's one hopefully that they can meet.
Now, when we talk about upsets, now if they upset UCLA and then go upset USC, how big is that for the program? And whether that puts them in a tournament, is that a 4 seed, 3 seed, 2 seed? So we have to look at that.
Yeah, I don't know where, how far they can climb up the seeding. Up until recently, because of their late season struggles, they were kind of on the bubble. They're now 21-10. They're firmly off the bubble. That Northwestern victory, a lot of people thought, okay, after that, they're probably pretty good. Just for extra measure now, they've beaten Rutgers and Illinois. Like you said, if they were able to go home with the Big Ten tournament winner, then you could probably see them move up. I don't know how, maybe 7 seed, 6 seed, but it would certainly be a dangerous team that you don't want to play. Again, maybe that's a little bit in fairy tale land, because there is a big gap from the middle of the Big Ten to the top of the Big Ten, but we'll see. Again, this is why they play the games on the hardwood.
All right. I guess that's it for basketball. Softball girls, man. They had a rough outing last weekend, 3-2 over the weekend, but they dropped in the top 25 in a couple of rankings after losing to a unranked Missouri team. So there was their current 20 In the NFCA, U.S. softball, they're 19. Softball America, they're 18. And D1 softball, they're 20. After previous being 16 and 18 in the other 4 polls.
Yeah, that loss to Missouri was the first one against an unranked team this season. So that's why I kind of brought them back to earth a little bit. They were able to beat Missouri. So they lost that one on a Saturday matchup, then beat them on the Sunday matchup. So at least got revenge for that. Jordy Ball actually looked human this past weekend instead of just dominating everybody. So that was kind of part of the reason that played out that way. All that to be said, Missouri, although I think they're hovering around 500 right now, which is why that's not seen as a particularly good loss. That was a team that did go to the NCAA tournament. They had like 40 plus wins last year. So there's probably something still to the Missouri Tigers that makes that less of a big deal. Now coming up next for Nebraska, they will have Northern Iowa tomorrow from Bowlin Stadium. And in fact, we'll have a little bit of a weekend series with them. So that will be Nebraska's opportunity to bounce back, as they will play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against Northern Iowa, and then another game against South Dakota State on Sunday as well. And they've obviously played a very tough schedule so far. A lot of their losses, again, to top 25 opponents, should prepare them for the Big Ten schedule, which should be around the corner after these kind of opening home series. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, okay. Now baseball lost one of their top aces in pitcher Matthew, what's his name, McConaughey or something.
Yeah. Well, not Matthew McConaughey, but yeah.
He was a preseason All-American recognition in National College Writers Association. Big blow for Will Bolt and the Huskers. He had a 1-1 record. He had 11 hits over 13.1 innings, striking out 19. Last year he was 9-3, 3.5 ERA. He notched 91 strikeouts over 73 innings to earn second team All Big Ten.
Yeah, Mason McConaughey is the name. I'm no relation to Matthew McConaughey, I don't believe. But in any case, yeah, you're right. And they are getting ready to open up the Big Ten play here against Washington. Of course, had to postpone the Nebraska-Omaha game, canceled the South Dakota State game because of the blizzard that came through here midweek. But Big Ten play getting going here pretty soon. They're going to open up in their first 2 series in Big Ten play will be Washington, UCLA. In fact, their third one will be USC. Throughout that, you've got some non-con matches as well. So playing out some of those West Coast trips. And Nebraska 4-6 so far in the season. They've had obviously the big victory over Vanderbilt in the first weekend, made you kind of think, okay, and they were ranked top 25 coming in. Even led number 2 LSU 5-0 at one point in that ball game, ended up losing that one. So there's something there to the Huskers. Losing your Friday starter for the season, though, certainly is going to make it a little bit more challenging for the baseball team to get on the right track. I never get into too much of a panic mode when you're early season, not even non-con for Nebraska. You can do a little bit here and there in the non-con, and Nebraska does. They try to schedule some stuff to kind of boost their resume altogether. But as we know, the Big Ten generally is not going to provide much of a resume boost from what you do there. You just kind of have to win that conference. Now, with some of those, again, West Coast teams coming in from the Pac-12, that should help, and we'll see how much it helps the Big Ten this year. But I was looking through it. I think it's been decades since a Big Ten team has won a College World Series. Michigan made it a few years ago, but you're not going to get much of a boost from that. So, a lot of it's going to be about Big Ten play, and if they can get ready, and just the loss of McConaughey and the 4-6 start together has not been the ideal start for Nebraska baseball.
All right, Fred Hoiberg, they need a win this Sunday, man. 11:30. Who they play? Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah. So the I-80 matchup.
Yeah, it will be. It's a big matchup for Nebraska. Things have just started to kind of unwhirl for Nebraska. This is a chance to put it on the right side, and on the right side, by the way, of the win column, but also for the bubble. Nebraska is a team that's was squarely on the bubble against Ohio State. Lost that game, obviously. And now they're kind of looking on the outside in likely. We don't know exactly how the NCAA tournament selection committee is looking at it, but when you look at all these kind of bracketologies from CBS or NBC or ESPN, Nebraska had kind of taken their lumps and still held on to either into that first four in, or even I think NBC had them in that first four out. The very definition, the very the 69th team, if you will. And then they had that loss against Ohio State, and now they're a little bit further back. You look at ESPN's bracketology that was released this morning. They are in the first four out, but now, as opposed to being in the first four in, which they were when they played Ohio State, that loss now kicks them to the first four out, along with Oklahoma, North Carolina, and Texas. And those teams, if you look at the ranking there, at least according to ESPN, would be 1 through 3, and then Nebraska would be 4 there. So Nebraska's got some work to do. A victory against Iowa, and then a victory in the Big Ten tournament. And I think you're not feeling good, but you're thinking, okay, that's probably a route for Nebraska to get there. You lose to Iowa, probably gonna have to win 2 at the Big Ten tournament. And remember, there's no guarantee that you're gonna make the Big Ten tournament. We should know by Sunday if there is a guarantee on the table. Some of the other teams are gonna be playing Saturday. They're gonna factor into that to whether Nebraska could lose and make the Big Ten tournament. So we should know by Sunday. But it's just not where the season was supposed to go, right? I mean, you had one of the best non-cons in Nebraska basketball, at least recent history. You won a non-con tournament. You beat Creighton. You had several top 25 victories this year, close to a school record. You've had Bryce Williams have now in the top 5 all-time in Nebraska single season scoring. He just set the record in a single game. With a buzzer shot a buzzer shot in double overtime, but still the single game scoring record for Nebraska at 43. And again, he's in top 5 all time, and I don't want to say season, but at least scoring season for Nebraska. And with his efficiency and what he's done, man, it'll be frustrating if Nebraska isn't able to capitalize and at least make the big dance with Bryce Williams having such a great year. But it's going to be a similar thing on Sunday as it has been recently. Is Bryce, you're going to have to carry the torch. You're going to have to lead this team. And hopefully, I think the good news while you're looking at all these losses kind of piling up is that Nebraska still has that fight to them. And they talked about it the other day. Lost to Minnesota. The body language wasn't quite there. I didn't see as much of a problem with that against Ohio State. And obviously that was just a game that somebody was going to have to win. Somebody was going to have to lose. Went to double overtime to decide it. And so, I expect plenty of fight for Nebraska against Iowa on Sunday. And man, is there a lot on the line.
Yeah, I guess that's right, Bock. You're right. All right, Bock, let's go to break. And then when we come back, we'll hit a little bit more football talk. We'll talk about Dan Landen's new contract he got from the University of Oregon. Big time. First year in the league, they win the championship, Bock.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. I mean, I think in any other college football season too would at least be in the Final Four for the championship last year. But of course, we've changed it. We've got a longer playoff, and they didn't quite take care of business there. But Dan Lanning took care of enough business to get that raise. We'll talk about that coming up next with more on Bock, the Blackshirt and Bock, or Bock of the Blackshirt on the Captain on 93.7.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchased from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Stocking all the top brands, including Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Sea-Doo, Manitow pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership, plus score big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has it all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location, and they can't wait to get you set up for the summer.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
When you or a loved one hears the words, "you have cancer," you want to make sure you're surrounded by a team you can trust, who will be a true partner in your cancer journey. At NHO, you'll be treated like family, and you'll feel that compassion every time you walk through our doors. After all, this is the fight of your life, and you'll need the best people to be on your side. We're Nebraska Hematology Oncology. On your side, by your side.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
MWA Pro Wrestling returns to Lincoln Friday night, March 7th at the First Avenue Social Hall. And in Beatrice at the Beatrice Auditorium on Saturday night, March 8th at 7 p.m. Don't miss two huge shows. Visit Facebook.com/MWA Pro Wrestling for more information. Tickets are on sale for both events. Friday night, March 7th, 7:30 p.m. First Avenue Social Hall in Lincoln. Saturday night, March 8th at the Beatrice Auditorium, 7 p.m. Brought to you by 10 Pins Fun Center, Felipe Electric, and Stone Hollow Brewing Company.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: rain and snow showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy too with an afternoon high near 39. Tonight decreasing cloud cover with a low around 23. And tomorrow we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and an afternoon high near 51. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey volleybalfans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown.
Husker Hall of Famer Terrell Farley.
Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the Captain Show, 93.7 The Ticket. It is Bock in the Blackshirt here to talk college football and a little bit of everything right now. Bock, college football highest paid coaches, Oregon, Dan Lanning enters the top 5 with his monster contract that he got. He still has a $20 million buyout, Bock, and that's a big chunk of change. Let's see. Landon was the 14th highest paid coach, but now he jumps into the top 10 following a highly successful 2024 club. He is in there's a $9 million club that belongs to Lane Kiffman and Mark Stoops and Eric Drinkwitz. What's that for Missouri coach?
Yeah, Drinkwitz.
Yeah, and Marcus Freeman. Brian Kelly is in the $9 million club. So let's see. All right, 8 is Brian Belichick. He comes in at number 8 at $10 million.
Bill Belichick. Yeah.
Bill Belichick.
Who, by the way, we're not going to see on Hard Knocks now.
No, and they already started spring ball, so we'll see how how the kids get used to his coaching style, or he gets used to them.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different when you come from the pros, and now you're dealing with a bunch of kids you're gonna have some kids who's gonna play at practice. You're gonna have some you have to put in line every once in a while.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I got to ask you real quick. I know we're going through it, but would Belichick, if this kind of happened, if he was recruiting you, would that entice you to want to go to North Carolina? Where
no,
that's kind of the whole thing.
No,
you wouldn't be too intrigued.
No, I'm not a North Carolina person. No, whoever's the best football team I want to play for.
Let's say it was in
North Carolina is just not up there for me.
Yeah,
I want to go to a college playoffs. I want to play in the big game, so I'm not going to take anything less.
Okay.
All right, Kalen DeBow is number 7 at 10.2 million.
Better win more than 9 games this year.
Lincoln Riley, 10.1.
I was just thinking about Lincoln Riley the other day too, because for the longest time I've said, with him, he's had like 4 starting NFL quarterbacks that he's ran through. He's had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. You think, man, that's incredible. He just keeps turning them out. At some point, does that get turned against you, right? If you've had 4 starting NFL quarterbacks, why haven't you won any championships?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know. For the longest time, that was kind of a feather in his cap. Now, after once you struggle, then it starts to become a question. It's like, why aren't you winning?
I'm thinking USC is losing their patience with him.
Yeah,
because he haven't lived up to any kind of expectations up there since he came from Oklahoma.
No, he bombed the USC program and the Oklahoma program. Oklahoma hasn't been the same since he left either.
All right, number 4, Dan Landon gets a big bump. Like you said, he was the number 19 coach. Now he's in the top 5. He comes in at number 4 at $11 million a year.
Yeah, and in just 3 seasons with Oregon, 10 wins, 12 wins, 13 wins. Definitely going to be a little bit different this year without the senior class they have, specifically Dylan Gabriel leading that group. But I think it's deserving for a guy that, remember, is just 38 years old, Dan Lanning.
Yeah, that's a good thing because he's still young. Dabo, 11.5. Ryan Day, 12.5.
There you go.
Kirby Smart, 13.2.
And
that'll do it for your big guys that's making all the money in college football.
Yeah. Of course, national champions among all of them now that Ryan Day has entered the club, those top ones. And I know Dabo's so, maybe, Clemson fans, it's just fun to go through all these lists because some of these fans aren't too happy with where things are. And Dabo, it might be in that category. We'll see what they can do coming back. Clemson needs a big jump year for this year to get that momentum going.
All right. The sweetheart of the playoffs, I think everybody fell in love with this player by watching him. Cam Scatterwood, while he's off working out for teams, getting ready for the combine, servers are trying to serve him some papers, Bock. Reportedly, Cam Scatterwood, former teammate, is suing him for an injury that happened back in 2022, I think. The former teammate is suing Scatterwood, saying that while he was on a golf cart on Arizona State practice field, Scatterwood jumped on the back of it, causing it to collapse and leading him to suffer a serious injury. That's crazy.
That is crazy. There's a lot to break down that story.
Well, he said him and another player were sitting in the golf cart on July 30th, 2023, when Scatterwood jumped on it, causing it to collapse and leading for him to rupture his tricep tendon, from which he is still not fully recovered. Initially, he sued Arizona State, but only added Scatterwood to the lawsuit recently after Scatterwood had a breakout final season at Arizona State when he became a first-team All-American.
I think he sees there might be some money to adding Cam Scatterwood to the lawsuit.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. That's crazy.
What would you, I mean, if he already started this without including him, I don't know. That's teammate stuff. If you get hurt with a teammate messing around, I don't know if you can sue the university for it. But I also don't know why there's a golf court and there's players riding it on Sun Devil Stadium on their field. But
well, I guess he sees it as an opportunity to get paid. He was sitting there and Cam Scatterwood came jumping up and down on it and broke it and he got hurt. So he is liable. Somebody has to be liable for it. Not saying that Cam is or, but things like that don't usually happen really on the golf cart. But, in this instance, it did.
Well, let me ask you this, because Athlon put out their top their preseason, pre-spring rankings, basically. What would your expectation be for Nebraska? Where would they fit, probably, without, going team by team? What range would you probably have them in?
20 to 30 range.
Well, I'm talking in the Big Ten, 18 teams.
18 teams? Probably 8 to 10.
Not a bad guess. Actually, we're 7th here. Maybe the old fact that Nebraska fans will click on it usually can help and maybe move them up the rankings. But there's also a belief that Nebraska could be pretty darn good. Let's see if we can get the 6 teams ahead of them in Athlon's pre-spring Big Ten ranking.
All right. Ohio State 1.
Ohio State 1.
Oregon 2.
Oregon is number 3, I believe.
Penn State is 2.
Penn State is 2.
1, 2, 3. Indiana's 4. No.
No.
Michigan.
Michigan is 4.
Okay.
Just 2 more in front of Nebraska.
Illinois.
Illinois is 5.
Iowa.
No, you're right. Indiana is 6. Nebraska 7 and Iowa at number 8. So you're in the right ballpark. Of course, you could probably throw those things around a little bit. As far as the just a short little write-up on Nebraska, says the combination of coordinator Dana Holgerson and quarterback Dylan Raiola should lead to a much improved offense in 25. The Cornhuskers have a major overhaul ahead on the defensive front.
Yeah. We're looking at a strange situation that we need to get a good grip on before the start of fall camp.
Yeah.
Just to see where we're at, because we might need to hop in the portal when it's open again. But I have a list of the quarterback rankings, Bob.
Okay.
Not in the Big Ten, but overall in college football for preseason. Arch Manning, number 1.
I always think that's silly for a guy that played, 1.5 games?
Cade Kubelik from Clemson.
Okay.
Number 2. Carson Beck is 3.
Now Miami.
Drew Aller.
Yep.
From Penn State is 4. Sam Levitt is 5. Garrett Newsemeyer from LSU is 6. Lenoris Sellers from Clemson, South Carolina, is 7. 8 is Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. Ooh, he let a Baylor quarterback get in front of us. Rocco Bichette from
Beck, yeah.
Yeah, from Iowa State. DJ Lagway from Florida is 10. Honorable mention, Luke Altemeyer, Avery Johnson from Kansas State, Kevin Jennings from SMU, Fernando Mendez from Indiana, and Diego Parve from Vanderbilt. No Dylan Raiola.
No Dylan Raiola.
Man, they've been stingy to Dylan.
Maybe, but at the same time, he did have 13 touchdowns and 11 picks. I expect Dylan to kind of move up these rankings throughout the season, but I've seen enough of the preseason rankings. He's not getting just the, he's next man up type of, preseason hype. He's going to have to earn it. I think a lot of people, maybe if you would have done this midway through last year, would have thought, okay, he's on a projection to really take that step and be a top 10 quarterback entering 2025. But we can't just act like the end of the year didn't happen. I mean, he really struggled for a major portion of that year, and also still looking for his first 300-yard passing game, which I know is not the ultimate benchmark for everything. But if you want to be a top 10 quarterback, you probably should have a few games where you're just slinging the ball around.
Yeah. When we talk about the Big Ten, let's take out the Big Four. Let's take out Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana. Now, out of all those teams we just took out, which one is probably your number one if we had to take out those teams?
Are you taking Michigan out? Or Indiana?
I'm going to take Michigan out this year.
Michigan out. I think Illinois really has earned it. I don't know if I believe that they're going to, kind of have the staying power. But I said that last year when Illinois beat Nebraska and it was a top 25 matchup. I remember saying, I don't know if this is a top 25 team now. I don't know if it's going to finish in the top 25. Obviously, they did and had a very big, a bit of a volatile, but a big victory over South Carolina in the bowl game. And they've got a lot of guys. They've got basically everybody coming back. Along, like you said, Luke Altmaier on that list of honorable mention is going to be one of the better Big Ten quarterbacks coming back. So I would say Illinois probably earned that right. They don't feel, if you're kind of doing in that, after those top four, they don't feel like they're insurpassable or anything, or definitely going to stay as a top 5-6 team in the Big Ten. But I think they've earned that. Indiana also, who we're trying to decide whether to put them in or not. They're really intriguing. And I think they'd also probably say that they earned that right. But there's plenty of questions around Indiana, and being able to do it 1 year where nobody expects you to do it is one thing. Being able to do it when the target is on your back generally is another. We'll see how much Kurt Cignetti can get that going. But I do feel like those teams probably have earned that right. From there, I think Nebraska could be right in that mix, and Iowa, who we went over, could be in that mix. They've probably earned it over the years, but they've got some things to replace there at the quarterback and on the defensive side of the ball.
Who that, Iowa?
Iowa does. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They that linebacker. I still can't believe that time he ran it at the combine. DJ, what is his name? Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah,
Jay Higgins wasn't running very well.
And of course, they're losing their star running back. Is probably the biggest hole.
Yeah, I would like to see where he's going.
As
we talk about, hot now, they got 8 college football teams have plenty to fine tune in spring. When we talk about teams that need to get back to their old self, like Alabama's, and can Georgia find a way, or quarterback, or can they get back on top? SEC struggled last year. My question is, can Michigan get back on top? Going 8-5 last year. They did beat an Alabama team pretty good in the bowl game. So you have to
finished off beating Ohio State and Alabama.
Yeah, so look at that. I don't think they could beat Ohio State 10 out of 10 times. Games. I think that was the only one they can look up at. But when we talk about teams that we are really struggled last year that should have been up there, Utah comes to mind with me.
Yeah.
Utah and Florida State. Florida State would be probably one of the most interesting teams this offseason to pay attention to, because as you know, they have Tony White. They have a couple of our players. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the mix early in the year playing good ball.
Well, it's going to be interesting too, because that's just how good is the bounce back year right after a 2-win campaign. one season removed from going to the college, well, not going to the college football playoff, but going undefeated and winning the ACC. And of course, if there was an extended playoff as it was last year, 2 years ago, Florida State would have went. I still think it's one of the biggest crimes in college football history that they didn't go 2 years ago. But regardless, that's water on the bridge at this point. They need to get back. And the question is, how good is going to be good enough? Obviously, they signed their head coach to a long-term deal after that championship. But is 6 wins enough in Tallahassee? Do they have to win 7 or 8 to make you feel like they're back on track and going in the right direction? If you win 5, that's obviously technically an improvement. But do you keep your coach around? I mean, so very interesting stuff there with Florida State. And I gotta say too, for me, it just continues to be USC. We talked about Lincoln Riley earlier. Just fascinating as a coach, how that move has kind of shifted what's happened at Oklahoma and USC since then. And Oklahoma's one that you got to look at. We mentioned it, I think, yesterday. They've got one of the toughest schedules in the country. So simply saying, trying to determine if they've done better by a win category might be a little bit misleading, but they're going to have the chances at some big wins. Remember, they did beat Alabama last year. We mentioned a few teams that beat Alabama last year, so it's not as big a deal as maybe it had been in the Nick Saban era. Oklahoma did.
No, Michigan. They beat Indiana, didn't they? Yeah. So or
no. They? I think Indiana actually came back and won that
20 to 15.
Yeah, it was a close game.
Yeah. Old Dad says, does Indiana repeat this year? That's hard. They do have a backup quarterback. We did see that when Curtis Rogue went out the game and they was able to still put up good numbers on us. So they do have a good quarterback returning.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too. I mean, and they did get that Michigan win. They beat Nebraska, but a lot of it seemed to be their schedule. This year, I don't know if the schedule is going to be quite as favorable for Indiana. You look at, they've got to go to Oregon. They got to go to Penn State. Those are kind of their big ones. Also have to go to Iowa. Look at some of the other teams on their schedule. It's not too daunting. Illinois at home, that'll be another one. But so it's a Big Ten schedule. It's not like I don't know if it would be in the tops or the bottom. Feels more like in the middle as far as difficulty, but it's not easy. Yeah. And Indiana's schedule last year, had some, Ohio State on it. I mean, they had some games. Michigan on it preseason would have looked maybe as tough as this one did. So sometimes just if it breaks their way, I will tell you this. Their non-con's not getting any harder. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
Who is that?
For Indiana, yeah.
Oh my God!
And they've said Kurt Cignetti said that's how he's going to schedule his non-con as well. Kind of in the Matt Rule.
Kennesaw
philosophy.
State.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kennesaw, y'all gonna get 5902 says, how do we? He said, do we have a gauge on how we are competing NIL wise with every other school? I hear a mashup of things. One side being we aren't keeping up with the Joneses, i.e., Georgia, Ohio State. But then I hear from Damian that we're maxing out the 20.5 for this year. Which is it?
Well, I think if you look at it,
we have another segment.
No, this is it.
Oh, okay.
I say if you look at it, I think the results over the first couple of years of the NIL would say Nebraska probably wasn't near the top, but we did have a report this offseason, and Nebraska finished with one of the top transfer classes, which would lead you to believe they're a little bit close.
20.5. If you're gonna have a $20 million roster,
yeah,
this ain't it.
No, not quite.
Ohio State has a $20 million roster. I don't know. All right, we thank you guys for listening to Bock and the Blackshirt here on 93.7 The Ticket, FM.com, The Captain Show. We will see y'all Monday with a full show, and hopefully the captain is back.
.93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather.